वेलकम सर, कैसे हैं आप?
Thank you. Walaikum assalam. All well. Thank you very much for inviting me. Uh, so,
कैसा लगा आपको पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन आके? आई थिंक इट्स द फर्स्ट टाइम यू सीन द फैसिलिटी.
yes, it's a great facility, and it's been very unfortunate that I am not a regular over here.
Children, things for children, things for women. So the whole community is engaged.
The whole community. Oh, it's a great thing,
Yeah.
and it's a well maintained building as well.
Yes.
It's very nice to see that.
Yes. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
But it is basically aims at providing all the services which normal people with good lifestyles expect from your financial institution in a country, right? So it is not about only
They always say is they would like to be job creators
yeah,
rather than job takers.
yeah,
एक दफ़ा आप किसी और की रोज़ी के जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं तो फिर रातें तो खाली होती हैं, नींद भी ख़राब होती है, बट एक मोटिवेशन भी मिलती है.
visited from companies, and he was here, and I told him कि Zishan, I don't know much on the technology side,
Yeah.
right? So if you are able to come with me, I'll have the idea, I'll have the stakeholders, I'll have the partnerships, but if and it's money that we are dealing with,
Yes.
in financial technology, so it's very very tricky.
Yes.
So why don't you come? And then he came on board, and that's how it all started.
But he got stuck, so
Yeah,
he had a
now
lot of
he's
time to
stuck.
think. I mean,
Yeah.
MVP बन गया था उधर ही.
Yes, yes.
Assalamu alaikum Nazeen and Samin. Welcome to Pace Podcast by Hub 47. This is your host Ali Akram from Pakistan Association Dubai. आज हमारे साथ मौजूद है एहसान रहमान साहब, who is the founder of Kamel Pay, a fintech focused on financial inclusion in Dubai. Welcome sir, कैसे हैं आप?
Thank you. Walaikum assalam. All well. Thank you very much for inviting me. Uh, so,
कैसा लगा आपको पाकिस्तान एसोसिएशन आके? आई थिंक इट्स द फर्स्ट टाइम यू सीन द फैसिलिटी.
yes, it's a great facility, and it's been very unfortunate that I am not a regular over here. I've just come once or twice for the auditorium, but
Yes.
I've never come and engaged with others on other events and all. But definitely, I look forward to
Yeah, we were
coming
having the
over
tour
again.
earlier, and I think you were quite impressed with the medical facility
Yes,
and how
yes,
it's being run.
and the sports facilities and
Yes.
and other things.
नहीं,
It's a
Masha,
good.
it's an excellent initiative. It's something that we are proud of as Pakistanis कि ऐसी एक जगह दुबई में मौजूद है जहाँ हर तरह के लोग आके engage कर सकते हैं. There's stuff happening for everyone. You know,
Yeah.
they have the there's Hub 47 obviously over here. There's the Pakistan Medical Center. The Ladies Forum is very active with events and stuff. They have children, things for children, things for women. So the whole community is engaged.
The whole community. Oh, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And it's a well maintained building as well.
Yes.
It's very nice to see that.
Yes. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. So सर हमने बात की आपके स्टार्टअप के बारे में. माशाल्लाह, I can definitely term as a success, although the journey is long, but you've achieved so much already. Tell us more about it. कि क्या करता है कामल पे, किस चीज़ पे फोकस है?
So Kamel Pay is as you rightly said, it's about financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी, I mean, everybody talks about this term financial inclusion, and I just want to correct that financial inclusion is not about just sending money home. They are trying to digitize remittances, and they talk about financial inclusion. यहाँ पर financial inclusion starts with digital remittances, but it is basically aims at providing all the services which normal people with good lifestyles expect from your financial institution in a country, right? So it is not about only cashless payments domestically or abroad, but also providing them with other services which they can do digitally and cashless, and are eligible to take on micro loans and loans for themselves as well, right? So then as a whole, financial inclusion is completed. If you're just doing a transaction journey, if you're not basically meeting their needs on a daily basis, other than just remittances, then the financial inclusion is not completed. So we provide them with payroll accounts. We provide them with digital online services where they can check their balances. They can request for any services for replacement card, blocking the account, blocking the cards. In addition to applying for micro loan services, and
So,
we have the algorithms in place.
so who are the main beneficiaries of this these
So it's
services?
primarily aimed at the immigrant expat worker,
Right.
right?
Mm.
Who's coming in, and they have and basically a market segment which gets a salary of, let's say, 2,000 dirham to 5,000 dirham, or let's say
Mm.
1,500 dirhams, the domestic workers, to 5,000 dirhams. That is our target market, which have been traditionally uh, financially excluded by the major banks
Yes,
because of the
I
cost
think
structures, because
it's
of the
a very vulnerable segment of the market as well. कभी salary नहीं मिलती, कभी मिलती है.
yes,
I mean, that's why the government reduced the wage protection system, which obviously
yes,
your system is based on as well, I believe.
yes, absolutely.
Uh, but what was life like before a solution like Kamel Pay? क्या एक क्या
So
problems थी जो आपने resolve की?
problems तो अभी भी हम सॉल्व करना चाह रहे हैं. It's not happened. So what is happening is कि जब आप फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन पे लेके आना चाहते हैं, फॉर हिम टू सेव हिज टाइम,
Hmm.
क्योंकि अगर वो कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहा है, उसकी अगर मोबाइल टॉपअप ही कर रहा है वो अपनी, या बिल पेमेंट भी कर रहा है, उसको कहीं जाना है,
Hmm.
उसको, और वो किस टाइम पे जाना है, उसकी फ्री टाइम पे जाना है उसको.
जी.
So वो अपना me time use कर रहा है to do all of these services. Now when you want to financially include him, get him on cashless payments, then you also need to educate him on the app and technology, because they are not very much, in this category of people, are not very much tech savvy.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about majority, but yes, there are some people who are very tech savvy, and especially when we look at the people who are now coming in their 20s, they are very tech savvy. But the older ones
जी.
who have been here, so there is a lot of education
Hmm.
that and hand holding which needs to be there, on ground support, physical support, uh, for them to explain all the processes, all the steps, for them to operate a mobile app or a web portal.
Hmm. I think I'm pretty sure कि in terms of remittances as well, you are very competitive. इसमें भी एक exploitation का element होता है पहले कि they didn't have the right channels to remit money back home as well.
Uh,
And
absolutely. So those alternative channels were there,
hmm.
but now with with the way the digital channels are being adopted, वो लोग काफी, I mean, it is now on a declining
Hmm.
declining trend,
Right.
where everything is becoming kosher within the ambit, unlike कि जैसे पहले alternative channel से भी
जी.
remittances होते थे.
Very good, excellent. I'm really happy to hear that, and I think uh, it's a noble cause to pursue. What got you into this segment? आप किस तरह से इधर आए?
So basically, before Kamel Pay, we wanted to do something. I mean, I have done entrepreneurship. I have started up my own businesses in the past, and then I got into banking for a very very long time. So when we wanted to do something of our own, so we were related to the me and my co-founders were related to the banking industry,
Right.
and we could see that banking mein innovation takes a lot of time.
Hmm.
We were doing the way things we were doing for the last 5-10 years, and there was a lot of bureaucracy in terms of adapting to the new change. So that is when we decided, okay, fine, we understand the banking system. If we use it, if we complement it with technology, is there anything that we can do which is scalable
Hmm.
and larger than life and create an impact on the society?
Yes.
So this thing was right on the radar. That, I mean, there have been companies who want to do financial services or fintech, but for the haves, right?
Hmm.
We By doing it for the have-nots, you're creating an impact on the society. You are meeting a burning. You're meeting the requirements of a burning issue,
Yes.
and uh, you are also able to scale,
Hmm.
because yes, we have started in the UAE, like most of the entrepreneurs, but then you have the target for overall GCC.
जी.
And when you talk about GCC, if you're talking about, let's say, 4.5 million immigrant expat workers, which were financially excluded, you're talking about 22 million across the GCC.
That's a huge number.
That's a huge number. That size of, double the size of the population of the UAE, right?
जी.
So this is what we are looking at. So if something that, over the last 3 years that we have been able to do, and we have reached to quite a big number in the UAE, that now gives a strong foundation for us to go into other larger markets of the GCC. And in a way, it all, yes, I'm a Pakistani, and it all plugs into Pakistan, because you would know that UAE and GCC are the number one providers of remittance to Pakistan, and that also gives us an extra push to serve our country in one way or the other.
Great stuff. थोड़ा सा let's rewind back to your origin story, जिससे आप कहते हैं आप यहाँ तक पहुँचे, माशाल्लाह, your startup is up and running, you have good traction. You did mention that you had a business as well, and you were involved in the banking sector. So
yes.
Let's look at the pros, because we try to analyze this on our podcast. We speak with people who sometimes come from a professional background, sometimes they're focused on a business upbringing.
From the start.
हाँ जी, family में business होता है.
Yes.
आपने दोनों चीजों का फ्लेवर लिया है, तो क्या चीज डोमिनेट करती है ज्यादा आज, और किस चीज का क्या क्या आपने हर एक एक्सपीरियंस से लिया है जो कि आज आपको एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर सपोर्ट कर रहा है?
So absolutely, that's a very valid question, because when I look back, I have done 2 stints of entrepreneurship. I left my job at a very early in my career to start entrepreneurship.
So right out of university?
No, 2 years after I was working for a bank, and then I left them.
Okay.
And then I started my own business, and I set up that business. At that time, because I was a junior, I was not, I did not have the management capabilities and understanding how management works. I did not understand various functions. Yes, I just knew how to sell, right? But when you get into a business, you need to understand how the finance works, how your other HR works, how your operation works, right?
Yes.
So you don't have that idea. So, but when you are working in a large organization and you are middle management or higher management, then you get all of these skill sets. So that can be replicated when you start your own business more successfully. I'm not saying that one way or the other, but I think that once you have done that in an organization, in a disciplined environment, then you are able to replicate that discipline more easily in your own business.
I think culture जो है सेट हो जाता है शुरू से ही
होके आप उसको ज्यादा बेहतर तरीके से कर सकते हैं.
Very good. But आपने मेंशन किया कि आपने 2 दफा ये जर्नी स्टार्ट किया, और I'm assuming कि शायद सक्सेसफुल ना हुआ इसलिए रुक गया बीच में.
So yes, so जब पहली दफा मैंने स्टार्ट किया, I was just 2 years into the business, and what happened was कि 5 साल मैंने वो किया, and I got bankrupt. So I did not have any choice. I was married, a very supportive wife, and I also had a kid. So and I was like, I just needed a stable source of income at that time, right? Yes. So I had to move back to the banking industry, and thank God that I got a job as well, because once you leave 5 years from a career, it's very difficult to come back. True. And there were people that so I was in investment banking, right? And there were when I called up a couple of friends, and yes, this is life, but they were so negative. They said, "Yaar, at best you can find a job in operations or retail." I said, I don't know about that, right? I was in debt capital markets, sukuk issuances,
yes,
and loan syndications. But then I finally found a job, So yes, so this was the reason why I went back to a job. Although, I mean, when I look at different stories in terms of business people starting from business, or people who quit their job in middle way or at the end, I think it's about the DNA. It's not about, yes, the DNA or the genes or on instinct. Some people are made that way, that they, they will try to take that risk. And one of the key biases which a business person has, I'm not trying to criticize and downplay any entrepreneur, but there is a bias called survival bias.
Yes.
Right, that everybody's going to die and I'm going to survive. So this is the DNA that a businessman has, because when he's starting, it is just an idea in his mind and nothing else.
Yes.
Right, and he thinks that his idea is going to come to life and it is going to grow well, and he is willing to leave everything to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
but I was thinking while you were talking, yes, you have survivorship bias, but the other quality that is coming out is the perseverance as well, right? आपने वो भी सीखा तभी जो है अब you know, even after failing the first time, going back, you didn't give up. I think. Did you always think you would come back to it, या आपने कहा कि नहीं दोबारा नहीं होगा, फिर थोड़ी बार दोबारा से बग आया कि यार
Exactly. When I left, I never thought I will come back full time. I thought कि यार I will take approvals to do something here and there on the side maybe, right? But I never thought I will do full time. And then during the COVID times, when we all had time to reflect on what we are doing, that is the time it just came back to me, and it came back in a way that pushed me towards taking a full time, because going full time is not an easy task in itself.
Easy step as well, right? Because you're settled again and life is good.
Life is good. Yeah, you're in
a comfortable environment, and then you still, you know, वो जो एक थोड़ा सा रह जाता है जर्म अंदर, वो दोबारा से बड़ा सा
वो दोबारा से जो है ना, वो that germ, whatever that instinct is, or whatever it is, it wants to do something more.
Yes.
Right, and that's where you get caught. I mean, there are a lot of successes there, but then for every success there are 100 failures, right? Yes. But that is I think the cycle of life, and that is why I think that it is something related to DNA. It is something related to risk-taking ability, which we do not set for ourselves. It is just maybe given to us at birth, right? You have 4 brothers, one is doing business, the other say no, we don't want to do this, right? So it's not about DNA or genes, or it's just something that you're built with. This is what I think.
Yeah. No, I've spoken to a few entrepreneurs, and one thing that you know, they always say is they would like to be job creators rather than job takers. एक दफा आप किसी और की रोजी के जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं तो फिर रातें तो खाली होती हैं, नींद भी खराब होती है, बट एक मोटिवेशन भी मिलती है.
और ये मोटिवेशन, ये जो आपने बात करी, ये आपने बहुत जबरदस्त बात करी, क्योंकि जब स्टार्ट किया था तो 2-4 लोग थे, राइट? तो इसका ये इतना एहसास नहीं हो रहा था, राइट? लेकिन अब जब we've crossed like 80-85 people, now we understand that they are all linked to families, and it's about 85 people, and we need to all, not ourselves only work, but work together to ensure that it continues its sustainability, because that's a lot of responsibility that we see. कि 85 लोग हमारे लिए जो कि relatively एक छोटी कंपनी है, but इस चीज का अंदाजा हमें अब सही तरीके से हुआ है. पहले तो when you're employed you don't have this motivation.
Yes.
But now it works very well to motivate us to provide the well-being for them and their families.
Yeah. Oh, that's great to hear. I didn't know about the fact that your team is quite large. In fact, I mean, I wouldn't call it a small team anymore. And that's definitely. We hope you grow to double, triple of that size. Lekin abhi bhi, mashallah, to achieve that, is very commendable. आपने मेंशन किया था कि you have a group of co-founders as well. I'm sure जब वो step लेना आ रहा था का time आया था तो there must have been a lot of conversations dinner पे या कोविड था तो पता नहीं किस तरह से आपने वो किया
जी
मिल के जो
जी
डिसीजन लेना
जी
है सब ने इकट्ठे छलांग मारनी है ऊपर जाके
ओके सो जब को फाउंडर्स की बात हो रही थी तो जो बेसिकली डिसीजन लेना था ना फॉर स्विचिंग अ जॉब was only mine,
right
right? Because the other co-founders were not doing a job.
yes okay
Okay, so it
ठीक
was
है
easy for them to get onto the bandwagon. और दूसरी बात ये मैं आपको बताऊं कि one of our key co-founders who is our CTO, who is
अच्छा
my younger brother.
oh mashallah very
Okay,
good very
now
good.
there is a there is a big story behind it. In the COVID time, he had come to Pakistan to visit for the parents. Our parents are in Pakistan, and because of the flights and everything, because he was living in Canada, and he had come down, and we had a conversation with Zishan. His name is Ehsan Rahman, and he's a Pakistani, and he's been there and done that in North America with startups on the technology side, and exited from companies, and he was here. And I told him ke Zishan, I don't know much on the technology side, right? So if you are able to come with me, I'll have the idea, I'll have the stakeholders, I'll have the partnerships, but if and it's money that we are dealing with, in financial technology, so it's very, very tricky. So why don't you come? And then he came on board, and that's how it all started.
But he got stuck, so
yeah,
he had
now
not
he's
time to
stuck.
think. I mean,
Yeah.
MVP बन गया था उधर ही.
yes, MVP बन गया था, and फिर उसने then alhamdulillah it worked out.
Very good. And how many co-founders are there in total?
So total of so we have a local person, Emirati. So there are 4 co-founders.
Excellent.
We have then we have another Pakistani who was a very senior banker.
Very good.
Right. Sadat Yaqub, Zishan Rahman, Sadat Yaqub, maybe, I mean, you know him. He's been the head of wholesale banking and corporate banking in the region for the last 15-20 years.
MashaAllah.
So he's a well-known name. Our chairman who got together, who shared our vision.
Yes.
Right. Hussein Al-Kamzi, who was the ex-CEO of Noor Bank.
Yes.
And Sharjah Islamic Bank.
Yes.
Right. So we all came together, and also with Hussein, he also wanted to give back to the community. Right. To support these people who are financially excluded.
Yes.
So when we all came together, this was a critical point, giving back to the community. So this is how we ended up all together and started up this entity.
Excellent. Are there challenges? Is the vision still aligned? बीच में आता है. How do you deal with those things? Because we haven't focused yet on this topic, so I'd like you to elaborate. As time goes on, usually with startups आप देखते हैं कि co-founders शुरू में होते हैं. If it goes good, then yes, people stick around. But sometimes you tend to lose a couple of people either because of visions not being aligned, or किसी को कोई अच्छी job मिल जाती बीच में, he says okay, I'm done. या किसी घर से प्रेशर आ शुरू होता है, यार कितनी देर तक हम लगे रहेंगे ऐसे. तो have you gone through that period? How have you?
Yeah. So I agree. So दो चीजें, एक तो vision alignment की जहां तक बात है, ठीक है. उसमें ये कि because we were not in our 20s, we were all in our 40s.
True.
Right? So it was very very concretely decided that the role of everybody and the decisions that they can take, and everybody will support them, and there are no questions asked. Right? So there were certain areas which my partner, co-founder, was taking care of, some areas that I was taking care of. So there was always alignment and vision, and there was never a moment of friction.
Excellent.
And that continues to go on. Now it is set. okay, this is where we need your help, this is where we need this help, and
I
this.
think वही बात आ जाती है. We go back to the point. A, maturity. B, all of you have been through that corporate environment where you know what governance is, you know what a corporate structure looks like,
Yes.
and how that should be. You know, the skeleton
Divided
was in
amongst
place.
ourselves based on our skill set, based on our day job, everything is streamlined. That is not a problem. The other part is when there is a lot of fatigue in this, right? Of course, in the early days, कि जब आप काम कर रहे हैं और उसका result नहीं आ रहा, ये नहीं आ रहा. So we got a bit lucky in this that we got funded by VCs right at the start.
अच्छा, very good.
ठीक है, तो जिस दिन मतलब yes, एक तो फायदा ये हुआ कि and it was basically our thing was the way we had approached it, that we will build the infrastructure with our own money, bootstrapping, and then once the product is ready and the proof of the pudding is there, we will reach out to the VCs. So maybe that was the difference. And when VCs got to know that we had spent considerable amount of money ourselves on the MVP and everything, and the product is now ready to grow.
Yes.
So they were able to come. So you can say that took like 1.5 years time.
Achha.
Right? And then we had gotten on to a path where we were able to get the right talents in order to grow, in order to execute our vision.
I mean, a lot of points that I would like to touch on. Fundraising is definitely one of the critical elements, challenges as well, that startup space. Especially, I would say, Pakistani founders के लिए क्या आते हैं challenges, whether it's a good environment for them to raise money, not raise money. What would you like to share as tips? I think you highlighted on a very good point that you had a very clear roadmap, you had a very product was ready, and there were backers out there for that product. Another thing that personally I feel, and जो हम mistake करते हैं कि Dubai is a very multicultural environment, and you need to have a perspective of how different communities operate, because that's your customer base, obviously. And secondly, diversity on your founder deck also helps you access different investor networks. Investors जो है, why they're investing could be various reasons. It could be the financial inclusivity segment. It could be a specific program that supports a certain kind of founder. So having that and in place helps us. And मुझे जो लगता है कि हम mistake करते हैं कि we go with a very उसको क्या कहते हैं पाकिस्तानी टर्म को, सेट माइंडसेट समटाइम्स, इवन एज अ स्टार्टअप फाउंडर, कि यार मैंने ये आइडिया लेके आया हूँ, मैंने इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कर दी है, मैं ही इसको लेके चलूंगा. आई थिंक दैट्स probably a failing point in many cases. In your case, you had a relationship with an Emirati founder. I'm sure that must have helped you in some cases, in some aspects. And there's a lot of potential, and at Hub 47 as well, we aim to create that platform to connect various kinds of founders together.
I totally agree that diversity cannot be underplayed anytime. दूसरी जो चीज जो मैं आपको एक चीज बताऊं ना, when you spoke about fundraising, what I want to say is कि during the early stages, at the MVP stage, या before pre-revenue, जब आपके पास revenue नहीं आ रहा हो, even early start of revenue, your product could be the best, but जो decision हो रहा है ना वहां पर is of course taking into account competition क्या है, सारी चीजें क्या है, how the total universe is based on the founder itself. Right? So they need to see that hunger. Okay, so in terms of the insights of the VC, how they work is that they're not a strategic investor. They are not an angel investor, right? They have taken money professionally from their LPs, right, from their other institutional funds to deploy in companies which have the ability to scale to a unicorn.
Yes.
सिंपल. सो अ स्ट्रेटेजिक इन्वेस्टर आ सकता है आपके पास, वो इस तरह कैलकुलेशन नहीं कर रहा है कि आपकी कंपनी $1 बिलियन की होगी या नहीं होगी. वो कह रहा है कि यार ये प्रॉफिटेबल होगी कि नहीं होगी. जो वीसी है वो अपनी अप्रूवल जब ले रहा है इन्वेस्टमेंट कमेटी से, वो इस बेसिस पे ले रहा है कि ये स्केल करेगी और प्रोबेबिलिटी मोर देन 50% या 70% है कि ये वहां पे पहुंच जाएगी. जब वो ये हर किसी कंपनी के लिए करता है तो 100 में से एक जाती है या 200 में से एक $1 बिलियन जाता है. बट अगर उसको ये फील होता है कि ये स्केल नहीं कर पाएगा, और वो स्केल क्यों नहीं कर पाएगा, द क्रिटिकल फॉर एनी कंपनी इज द मैनेजमेंट. राइट. अगर यहाँ पे 50 बैंक है, हर 50 बैंक की हर बैंक की प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी अलग है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका मैनेजमेंट अलग है. प्रोडक्ट सेम है, या क्रेडिट कार्ड है, या लोन है, या ब्रांचेस हैं, बट द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इज डिफरेंट. सो if they are convinced on the quality of the management, on the quality of the founders, right, then they know with the right idea, with the right product, they would know okay, this can scale. And what they are continuously looking at is hunger, because people, I mean, fatigue इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. आपने preservance की बात की, basically उसमें हम यही देखते हैं कि, and this not only for upcoming founders, this is the discipline which is required by everyone, is that whatever project that you start, you need to complete it. Right. I mean, there could be rainy days, there could be sunny days, that does not matter, but whatever you start, it needs to be finished. So that is the mindset that is also required in the founders. Yes, I mean, wo Delhi ya Abu Dhabi bahut dur lagegi, but you have to keep moving. The pace could be up and down, right? But you have to be progressing towards that and complete it. So
and you have to be efficient.
And you have to be efficient so that you get in time.
I think that's also a critical factor at this stage कि आप कितना efficiently अपने capital utilize करें, because yes, you have a certain runway in which to meet X number of targets.
Absolutely. So capital की efficiency इतनी ज़्यादा important है कि basically, and this is where founders who are savvy in finance, it is better for them. But if they are not, and if they think by themselves that they need help, they should take help, because this fundraising process takes 6 months.
Yes.
Now, if you have miscalculated that, then even the best of the companies can just shut down in a day's time, because they will take their own sweet time. They will not give you money quickly because you don't have cash, right?
If you could highlight on another aspect that I like to analyze, what would your advice be on that? आपने बताया कि as founders, obviously, you were successful in your careers, and then you had the capacity to build your product through your own capital, bootstrap the way for a certain amount of time. Sometimes founders raise too early, right? And then उधर भी misalignment आती है क्योंकि you have to give away a lot of your equity to be able to raise cash early, right? How do you decide what's the right time? Obviously, it depends on what kind of startup you have, but what would be generally?
Yeah, generally, basically, you need to take capital as soon as possible. Number one, you need to take always more money than less money. These are principles which have been taught to me by VCs, right? Of course, it is conflicted, but these are the two principles.
Interesting.
The reason is that now there is a risk, implicit risk, that you're taking on yourself. If you are able to achieve all of this dilution angle, that's what you're talking about, right? Will all be taken care of. Because all the VCs and investors love star performing founders. And then there are ESOP options for the founders, there are performance bonus in equity for the founder. That all comes back. So that is not something that anybody should worry about, unless you are giving away majority on day one. Now that is something that is that works against the investor. Because if the investor owns 70% of the business, how do you expect कि वो founder जो है ना सारी रात बैठ के काम कर रहा होगा अपने business के लिए,
जी
right? So that only can happen in inexperienced investors who want कि यार नहीं मैं 51% ले लेता हूँ. But by the time you get to Series A, the benchmark is that you have diluted around 40 to 45%.
I appreciate those insights actually, you know, क्योंकि you raise a very good point on how it's not necessary कि आपने अगर शुरू में बहुत कर ली dilute, you still have options, and yes, the star founders are given those options. That's a very very valid point, and
तो मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि क्योंकि we have gone through this stage, right? And some founders, and including us as well, take it very close to the heart, right? कि नहीं यार ये ऐसे कैसे. But इस चीज की नहीं बात ये कि अगर आपने बना ली वो जो आप बनाना चाह रहे हो, तो वो फिर then it really doesn't matter. They are willing to give you everything, right? Later on. So that is not the end of the story कि आज आपने अगर उसको dilute कर दिया. It can all come back. There have been cases in markets where the companies in their Series D and E have raised $200 million and the founders were not diluted. There was an anti-dilution for the founders. Right? So this happens. But the risk is that you're taking on yourself that you will perform. If you don't perform, then anyways.
Yeah, it's a moot point in all scenarios. Zabardast. बहुत अच्छी बात है. Coming back to the cycle of fundraising, आपने how many rounds have you raised so far in terms of?
So there was an angel round.
Okay.
Then there was a let's say seed round,
right?
Which had some institutional investors.
Okay.
And then the pre-series A.
Acha, mashallah. Yeah. So that's excellent news. I mean, congratulations first of all on that कि आपने successfully multiple rounds cross किए हैं. Can you shed some light on? I would like to know who are the people who are backing you, because that's interesting. And B, what was it that got you those investors, specifically in your scenario? हमने general तो बातें कर ली. Specifically, I'd love to know. Okay.
Yeah. So there is, I mean, I can give you learning on the fintech side.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which is critical. So basically, getting investment on fintech, what is the critical thing that these investors are looking for is your clarity on the regulations. Because this is something that can shut down your business in a day's time.
Yeah.
Unlike an e-commerce platform or a health tech or in other tech companies, logistics, right? So so once they have an understanding, okay, these founders tick the boxes in terms of understanding and being conversant with the regulations, upcoming regulations, on the ball, on the compliance and everything. That is where they get comfortable. Because this is the single point of failure in a fintech business, right? Yes. You do something, you breach the regulations, and then nobody helps you out, right? Other than that, it is basically again how you present your pitch, how you make the story, right? In terms of what you want to do, and how it gels in with the. Now they used to love an idea where it was done successfully in some part of the world and that can be replicated. Now all the ideas have already been replicated, so founders are short of ideas. But then they're looking for the individual traits, as you spoke about, perseverance, passionate about the business. So those are the things I believe that helps us. But as soon as you are, let's say, 2 years into your revenue generation, then what are the two critical things? How fast you are growing, right? And how much you can grow in the next 2-3 years, because they are really not interested in a business which grows at 20% per annum.
Yes.
They want 3x growth, 4x growth for the next 2-3 years, right? So that becomes a scalable business, and that is something that VCs are looking for. They are not looking for profitable but medium-sized businesses. They're not looking for that. They're looking for
I'm sure they turn the heat on as well. They get on your board. They follow up.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely. They follow up, and then if you don't make the cut, then they are not there in the next round, right?
mm,
Because it's not only being profitable, it's about scaling and profitability for the VCs.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
And are you able to name names? Okay. Who?
So names, I will just tell you that they are global
Mm,
and regional
right.
funds which also invest in fintechs.
Very good. Masha.
Yeah.
No, that's very, very good. Excellent to hear. And as I said, I think once you have a proper institutional fund on board, as you said, international and regional, एक एक different direction में मिलती है आपको. How does it work out from a mentorship angle as well? Do they also are VCs really guiding you, or are they
Yeah.
spraying and praying? Yeah,
So this is one very critical point which
Mm.
founders should have in mind when they are looking out. Yes, money is always good,
Mm.
but they need to look out what is the strategic value that the VC is bringing to the table.
Mm.
Now, if it's a regional or a global, they can get you the partnerships. They can also cross pollinate between their portfolio companies
Ji.
from some other region, right? So what is the strategic value on the table? Because that is critical.
Mm.
Money can get you so far, right? But if people can get options, what they do is hurry in terms of taking on the investment. But the critical aspect is and it is now the onus on the founders, because देखें वो VCs तो बहुत ज़्यादा busy है ना. They have
जी.
like 50-70 portfolio companies.
Exactly.
They will only support companies who are taking the initiatives.
Hmm.
So that is something that needs to be done. आपने जो mentorship की बात की है, they have consultants on board.
Yes.
And people get access to them. The portfolio companies get access to them on a subsidized basis or at free of cost.
Right.
So all of that needs to be done more by the founders.
Hmm. I think another, you raise a very valid point on how active are you in seeking out the help, because either Hub 47 maybe we have a mentorship network as well, and we hope you become a part of that for our startups. But we always emphasize that it's always better to get help. And again, ये भी थोड़ा पाकिस्तानी इशू हो जाता है कि हम जो है ना नोशन assumptions पे काफ़ी चल रहे होते हैं और उसको टेस्ट नहीं कर पाते अक्सर, और कभी-कभार बहुत देर हो जाती है, and then you lose out. So,
True.
it's always good to avoid those pitfalls, and
Yeah.
obviously somebody with that perspective can tell you from 10 miles away, कि अच्छा, watch out for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you reach out to them, they are always trying to help you, but then they do get easily distracted because they have a lot of companies to
Ji.
manage.
As you said,
right?
the onus
Yeah.
is definitely on you as a
Yeah,
founder.
yeah.
Don't expect to be handheld. You
Yes,
have to
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to reach out yourself.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure आपने जो है जब product launch किया होगा as a new company, you are operating in a space which is dealing with money, and people don't trust just anybody with money, right? So how was the process of gaining trust, getting your first customer, because that's really important. पहला customer बड़ा ज़रूरी होता है. Who was your customer? Maybe you can tell us about that, or maybe you can tell us about some fun stories where people said, "Yeah, बाहर निकलो यहाँ से, क्या बात करने आ रहे हो?" So,
Yeah.
please share with us.
Yeah. So let me tell you in just 2 words: extremely painful. Okay. So as you said, it's a money game,
Ji.
and somebody turns up at your door, uh, and you say that you want their payroll accounts and for the underbank, and you want to give everything for free. You want to do everything for them, and they're like, sorry, but thank you.
This is
Right?
too good to be true.
This is too good to be true. So you
Definitely
can.
bhag jayenge.
Yes, yes. And there were some competitions in our market, right? Some people who were doing some similar stuff, and this is exactly what they said. When they heard that we had approached a client, they went to the client and said, "Okay, don't deal with them. They will shut down in
Wow.
3 months."
Wow.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So this was happening all the time. And then what we did is we invested in building distribution platforms, right? Partnerships with people who were influencers. Now our business is a B2B model, right? So we had to create the trust with the CFOs of the company, with the HR of the company, with the CEO of the company. So it is not more, it is not an individual play कि impulse decision में एक बंदे ने एक काम कर दिया, right? So we built the right distribution platform over the last 2 years, which and we built our own credibility in terms of the systems, cybersecurity, compliance, right? For people to give them the reasons to build that trust, right? And then what was happening was, and giving it on a much cost effective basis, right? Because trust and security is much more valuable than just saving 20% or 50% in cost.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even if you're saving 50% in cost and you don't trust it, I mean, you would rather go for the expensive proposition. So that took a bit of time.
I think the margin of error is zero, right? With you guys.
Zero.
You can't go wrong with giving someone their salary.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's any hiccup, then that's downfall of the entire organization.
Yeah, the cost of going wrong is very high for the employer.
Yes.
Right? So and मैं आपको बात बताऊं कि I was a banker and I was dealing with corporate companies as well. And once I left Chartered and I went to certain people who I was dealing with, but I did not get the business.
That happens.
Right? So yeah, founders have to be prepared for this. As soon as they get into the jungle and they don't know you, right? I mean, so yeah, but that's a choice that people make, and that is the point where preservation is a critical thing. One thing is very, very clear, that if the product is good, it will sell, right? So they need to go back to the drawing board. Yes, there can be negative instances where, with us as well, where people have given no reason, right? And just said, no, we don't want to do with this, right? But other than that, what we have done is always taken the feedback and understood, researched the market and improved the product and continued our, with our perseverance to actually build those initial customer base, either being in construction, logistics, hospitality, to get that minimum critical mass so that we can build on it.
Could you have done it in a place besides Dubai? I mean, let's talk about where we are. How do you think the infrastructure here, the ecosystem for startups, has supported you being in Dubai? Okay, most of your customers are here. You reached a scale, within the UAE.
Yes.
Usually, startups are forced to go outside very quickly because the market isn't big enough. But I think आपने एक बहुत अच्छा segment pick किया, and then you're able to expand within that segment.
Yes, I mean, no doubt. I mean, Dubai, देखें, दुबई की ecosystem, first of all, तो आप cultural diversity mix ले लें.
Yes.
Talent access ले लें आप, right? I mean, छोटी सी चीज, internet access ले लें आप, which is critical for startups, right? I mean, you go into emerging markets and you're facing all of these issues, right? Yes. Then the accelerator programs there are over here, the access to conferences, events, is second to none. Yes. In Dubai, right? I mean, yes. How many times does in other markets, do we get to hear all these big people coming to a certain region summit, conference,
Absolutely.
building that network, access to mentors, right? So that is very much there for
Hmm.
people to capitalize on it,
Yeah, yeah, for
right?
sure.
So if they want to do so, Dubai, as yes, although by economies of scale or by the population they may not have a lot of people, but it's a great place to start from
Hmm.
and to grow from.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think even linking it back to testing your product, finding the product market fit, then taking it to investors as well.
Yeah.
The route is easier and more accessible, probably.
Yeah, I mean, even when you talk about the investors, this is a regional hub, right? So all the investors are here only.
Hmm.
So if you are let's say raising money from Egypt, or you're raising money from even Bahrain,
Hmm.
right, you are again connecting with them on Zoom, versus if you're here, you're connecting with them from the family offices, or
Hmm.
from the venture capital funds directly
Yes. Yes.
in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, so what's next for you? What's next for Kamel Pay? Where
So
is the direction going?
so we continue to expand in terms of, so there are three things that we are looking for growth. One is we are expanding our product base.
Hmm.
uh, we are getting into product variants to enhance our growth, our penetration, in terms of customer usage of our products, that needs to increase. That is
Hmm.
number two. And the markets, right?
Hmm.
So we are now building our foundation to start in Saudi very soon,
Hmm.
but we continue to product, markets, and penetration,
Hmm.
uh, are the three things. We are launching now, since it's a B2B business. We now want to get into the HR side of things.
Hmm.
We want to expand into corporate spend management solution, which
Right.
we started as a test case, and we're going to build on that in the next few months.
Excellent.
So all in all, basically, while we have the 2 year or 3 year experience, now we understand what is the actual customer requirement
Hmm.
sitting in the UAE. So that is something that we are looking forward to.
Excellent. Excellent. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you, Ehsan, और बड़ा अच्छे आपने perspectives दिए हैं. Before we, move to the end, what would be your advice to a new founder, startup founder coming from Pakistan, looking to set up in Dubai? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? How would you uh, give them a few nuggets of advice which will, really support them in their endeavors?
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of two elements of advice, one I would say a more subjective opinion, helping them out some things. I mean, they need to plan it well in terms of the funding
Yes.
requirements, right? But nobody does it right. So so
I
but
think आपने बड़ी अच्छी बात की थी. You always should overestimate the budget that you need. I think that's perfect advice from the VCs.
yeah, so that is one.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you start, once you so one is basically deciding to do it or not,
Hmm.
right? Now that is something that you should, if you want to do something, you should do it sooner than later.
Hmm.
A lot of people are saying, okay, ये हो जाएगा तो फिर मैं करूंगा, ये हो जाएगा तो, वो कभी नहीं होते वो सारी चीजें, right? So you start sooner or later. दूसरी चीज, if you are at it, and the way our brain works, मैं आपको बताऊं कि new neurons are being, and new nerves are being what you call born every day,
Hmm.
which links your creativity when you really want something, and the brain is working ways to get you that solution,
Hmm.
right? So मैं ये कहूँगा कि start sooner or later. Trust your own creativity, your own brain to find a solution
Hmm.
for what you're doing, And if things are not going your way, pivot. There is a possibility to pivot. So maybe you're doing 99 things right, one thing wrong. You just need to just make it a different variant for to make it complete, and just be at it. But if you are deciding on it, just decide it sooner or later.
Don't waste time.
Don't sooner than later. Don't waste time. And people will start. As I said, I mean, it's something to do with your internal risk-taking ability. And there is a very good quote, and I keep reminding myself by Rumi on this. So what happens is, what is the issue? Why people don't start, and why people delay? Is that they cannot see the end, right? The Rumi says, "Get on the road, and the way will appear."
Beautiful.
Right? And this has happened to us. There have been so many roadblocks, and we just don't know what to do. And then we just start working towards it, and suddenly a solution appears where there was no solution, right? So once you get on the road, you start seeing the way. I mean, just imagine that there will be fogs all the way, but just because of fog, I mean, you still travel, you go near that fog so that you can see another mile or 5 miles or 10 miles. So
I think there's another famous saying, journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
With the first step,
So
yes.
You need to take that step.
You need to take step at a time. Don't overthink. People do that. I've done that many times, because in your survival years, every event is a life and death matter, right? As far as operational failure, technology failure, you have to go across that, right? I mean, a child, when they start running, they just when they start walking, they just don't run, right? They fall, they get up, they fall, they get up. I mean, that's how a startup is. There is no other way.
Yes. Sir, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here and speaking with you. बहुत शुक्रिया आपने अपने
Thank you.
views share किए हमारे साथ, and we hope you stay involved with us in different capacities. We will engage with you, and we hope that the viewers and the audience take a lot of learnings out of this. And obviously, best of luck to you in your journey, and we wish you all the success.
Thank you. Thank you very much.